You are listening to the Tricer Podcast, where we talk all things hunting, gear, and the great outdoors. Before we begin, let's start things out right and put God first. Lord Jesus, I thank you for Tricer, and I ask that you can use this podcast as a way to bring joy to all of our listeners. We lay Tricer and this podcast at your feet. Amen. All right, another episode of the Tricer Podcast, joined today by Wyoming's own Dylan Heide. So, Wyoming boy, how's the weather up there? You guys starting to cool down up there right now?
Yeah, we're in between the warm and the cold period, so it's about to get cold, I think.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure, for sure. Yeah, we don't experience that. We're always warm down here in San Diego. So we have deer tags this weekend, and I'm excited because it's going to be 80. So I'm like, all right, it's going to be 80. It's pretty cool.
oh,
So yeah,
yeah, rub it in. I wish it was 80 degrees. Goodness.
yeah. It's for hunting though. It's horrible, right? I mean, like you wish it was cooler, and you wish you get some weather and some. It just doesn't ever. You don't really ever get any good weather for deer hunting down here. I mean, a good deer
Right,
day would be in the 60s, cloudy. It just doesn't get that cold down here. You guys, I mean,
right.
you experience like extreme winters, yeah, right?
Yeah, Wyoming especially they just get a lot of wind, like a ton of wind. So we get, even if it's 20 miles or 20 degrees outside, we get 30, 40-mile-an-hour winds on the daily. And it can even get worse than that, but it's just freezing cold, just ripping that ice cold wind in your face. And you're like, man, why am I outside?
So I know you do real estate. So how does that affect you? Like I was always wondering, like, because we just kind of work year round here. Like when it comes like February, March, April, are you guys just like inside, or I mean, are you out selling houses?
Dude, we're slinging houses, man. I mean, it's just people are. It's more or less we're selling all the non-residents that showed up, and we're like, what the heck was this? This winter sucks, and then they're leaving, so we're listing their houses and then getting them sold to the residents. So yeah,
Um,
we stay busy pretty much year round. It's pretty cool, but yeah, it's definitely it's crazy going from February to like July. Just the difference in weather, definitely pretty crazy.
yeah, we've been looking at some properties in Wyoming for Tricer. Honestly, I don't know if we're gonna make probably not gonna make that switch, but we're probably gonna get our business registered up there because yeah, everyone's just California. Everyone just keeps leaving. But I do think it's funny
Yeah,
when they're like, "Oh, I'm going to Idaho or I'm going to Wyoming," and it's like, did you visit there in June or did you visit there in February? Because you probably should go up there, a few different times throughout the year and see if you really want to move there. You can
right.
handle it.
Yeah. Well,
But
the
we're
nice
pretty.
part about Idaho and Wyoming alike is there's nobody here. So I mean, we're just, I mean, you're kind of left alone for the most part. You go to California, and I mean, you got people everywhere. I mean, Wyoming, like the town I live in, is like it's darn near the biggest city. I live in Casper, right in the middle of the state, and there's 50,000 people here, which is a ton for Wyoming. But I mean, shoot, you drive 10 minutes north, south, east, west, and you're out of town. There's nobody to bug you. I mean, you're just they're you in the country. So yeah, it's kind of nice. I'll tolerate the wind if I mean I'm not tolerating people. So
Yeah, we definitely don't have that, man. I drive home every day from work in traffic, bumper to bumper for an hour. You guys probably don't even have that many stoplights. I guess you do in Casper, but it's just
what's a
like,
bumper?
yeah, yeah, no kidding, huh? So we deal with that stuff. So tell me about you, man. Like you're working with Tricer a little bit. We got you some tripods. You're using our stuff. Seems like you're liking it. You seem like you're putting it to good use, man. I keep seeing you like. I just feel like you're hunting. Like I don't even know how you sell houses. I feel like you're just hunting all the time.
Dude, that's a great question. Just don't let my clients know that. No, it's honestly a really good career choice. To kind of dive back into your first question to tell me or tell you a little bit about myself. I actually had the opportunity to get into the hunting industry like a few years back and make that a career. I chose to not go into that career path for there's several reasons, but mainly, I started seeing, how I wanted to raise a family, and the way I wanted to raise a family personally, I just didn't want to get into it with hunting and making that my full-time job. So, long story short, I got into sales because I'm a people person, and started selling cars and knew I wanted to sell something that didn't depreciate over time. So cars was definitely not it, but I got to learn some pretty good sales. And then I got into house sales about a year and a half ago. Man, I just love it. It just clicks for me. And the nice part about it, I'm a business owner, so I mean, I'm my own boss, so I get to determine my days off and when I don't want to come to work or when I do want to come to work, and obviously if there's somebody that's a high priority to me wanting to look at houses and stuff, I'm obviously making it a high priority and showing them houses and such. But when times are slow, I get to go out and hunt. So I get to use that opportunity of, when it's slow and there's not much going on, I can go out and hunt. And then when there's stuff going on, I'm called into work. So kind of works out pretty good.
Just don't show any houses before like 11 a.m. and you're probably pretty good to go. As long as you don't
Yeah.
kill something, you got to pack an elk out or something. You're probably pretty good.
Yeah, the nice part is I've built some good relationships with other realtors. I mean, worst case scenario, if I had like a client that was like, dude, I gotta look at a house right now. I'm like, bro, I'm backpacked into an elk hunt right now. I can't help you. Sucks to suck. No, I don't say that. I'm just like, hey, I got another realtor that's in town right now. They can show you the house. And then they can kind of work the deal. And then when I get back, I'll just pick up where you guys left off. So, and then obviously I can help out that agent, give him a spiff or something, percentage off the deal or the commission anyway. And yeah, kind of help each other out that way. So it all works
Yeah,
out.
I imagine up there because like in San Diego, it's taboo, right? Like if you hunt, it's taboo. Like especially in California, it's just not common, right? There's millions of people here, and even though I think we have more hunters in the state than you guys have residents. It's just not
Right.
compared to population. It's a small number. It's taboo. I imagine in Wyoming. I mean, a lot of you guys hunt, so it's probably not uncommon for me like, oh, I'm out elk hunting. It's not like weird. Like I tell somebody I hunt here, and they're like, oh, what? No way! Like what? You kill stuff? It's probably more common up there. They probably have a little bit more grace for it, I guess, than we would down here.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it's definitely like seems like what we've kind of I've done the math on it. It's like one out of every three people has gone on a hunt here in Wyoming in their lifetime at some point in time.
Wow.
So everybody knows that this is like a hunting state. Like it's definitely a common theme. Like it's definitely a thing for sure. The one thing I will say though is choosing this as a career path. Nobody that I know of that hunts like as much as I do, has made this their career path. And I find that really surprising because this is a really good career path for somebody to make a ton of money and to enjoy the time in the outdoors that they want to enjoy themselves. So it's that part's shocking to me that nobody's done that, especially here in Wyoming. Most people are working like a day job 9 to 5 and they're like, "Man, I wish I could get tomorrow off because I got a big bull spotted, but I can't get in there until Sunday." And I'm like, "Well, where's he at? I'll go kill him." So
Yeah.
it's part's kind of nice, but I don't know. Definitely interesting.
Yeah, it does give you that freedom. My brother-in-law does real estate, and he actually opened up his own loans company too. So he had real estate for years, and now he does loans, and he gets to take off a lot of time. Like they're always my sister's always posting pictures and videos, and they're like hiking in the morning and drinking coffee by the pool, and I'm like, damn, I got up at 4 a.m. and drove an hour to work, and so
Right.
you definitely get a little more freedom with that. So yeah, that's neat, man. So I got to get with you too because I've got a bunch of points up there. I know you guys all hunt. You guys are making it really hard on non-residents to come up there and hunt now. They're making it harder and harder on us. So I
Right.
gotta, I gotta, I gotta get with you because if I'm with you, can I go in the wilderness area?
I actually don't know the answer to that question, but I don't hunt any wilderness areas, so
Oh, you don't.
that might
Okay.
be. No, I don't. I mean, you got grizzly bears you're dealing with in wilderness areas, so I won't deal with them. A lot of residents will, but I'm never in there hunting with grizzly bears. So I've got other units that you get into that I could hook you up. You don't have to worry about bears.
I'll have to talk to him about my points and see what we're gonna do because I've never shot an antelope. Like down here, like so California, it's like a 15, 20 year tag to draw that. And same thing with Arizona. So but up there they're like rabbits, right? I mean they're everywhere and everyone goes and gets the antelope. Every year you go get an antelope, right? That's one of the things you guys do, right?
So I'm glad you brought that up. Really interesting. It's funny. Every podcast I ever talk on, this is always a topic of conversation. So I feel like I've gotten a lot of information out there, and this is going to be something good for you. Residents like treat antelope hunting like it's just a given, and they don't care. They just apply for it, get a tag, and it's literally so easy that you can drive out and kill an antelope in 5 minutes. And the thing about it is, residents have no idea what they got, dude. They have no freaking clue, like how good it is here for antelope hunting. You go any other state, literally, and it takes years of preference points or years of just applying to get a tag to just have an opportunity to shoot an antelope, not just
Yeah.
like a really good buck. There's units here, like as a resident, we can draw it, and it's like 70-80% drawing odds is like a top 10 unit in Wyoming. And if you don't draw, you got second choice options to pick from. And there's always leftover tags that a residents can pick up. And dude, it's literally so simple. You just go out and shoot an antelope. But it's literally actually my favorite kind of hunt because when you actually learn the behaviors of antelope and how to hunt them, what a big buck actually is, stuff like that. It's so much fun, dude. It's unbelievable. I mean, you can find the same antelope every single day. Like the same buck, if you went in April, you could find that same buck. He doesn't leave his little hill, his little sagebrush hill. He stays right there the entire year, and you can go out and shoot him. So the hard part's just keeping eyes on him and going out and staying consistent and putting that work in and then patterning him and the whole nine. But I mean, he's in the wide open, so it's not like you're losing him like an elk in the trees. You have no idea if you're ever going to see him again. Like you will see him 100%. But you just got to learn their behaviors, what they do, and you, dude, it's so much fun. I just love antelope hunting so much.
Yeah, I got to come up there and do that. It's on my list for sure. Like I said, I think I have like 6 or 7 points for antelope now up there. I got to come do
Dude,
it. I had
spend them.
Rocky. What's that?
You need to
Spend it.
spend them, man.
I will. I
Yeah,
will. I'll talk to you and figure out where I'm going. And I'll come up. Maybe I'll come up there and do it. Uh, so I had Rocky Diamante on. His brother Shed Crazy. He was on like last week, and he's like, "Yeah, they're all 2 points on the antelope." He's like, "Yeah, I don't really care. They're all 2 points. I just shoot them. I'm not picky." So I was like,
right.
"It's a good way to put it." But
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
I got to get up there and do it. I had some friends do it a few years back. How your boots on the ground up there? You just went through like this gnarly winter. How did it affect the antelope and the mule deer? Like, what are you seeing? Are you seeing every? They make it sound like every antelope is dead. Is that true?
right. No. Here's the thing. I'm gonna piss a lot of people off by saying this, but really, the social media blew that winter we just had way up. I mean, dude, there's plenty of animals out there, and I've gotten into all kinds of arguments with people over social media that are like, "Yeah, the deer herd's down. Don't give out any tags." Blah blah. And do I agree that the Game and Fish is good about managing our deer herd? Absolutely not. Like they're horrible, but there's still plenty of deer around. Now I do know the west side of the state. I went shed hunting over there one time this year, and there was like cuts and valleys just loaded with 10, 12 deer just dead. So, I mean, yeah, it did hit them hard pretty much over there. Utah got hit pretty hard. That whole like border area, right? Like that whole area's got hit pretty good. But dude, I mean, there's still there's still a good amount of animals running around, and antelope didn't get hit near that hard. Like I said, it's going to piss a lot of people off saying that because there's some people that are very passionate about this whole topic and they just think that if you go drive around, you won't see any animals. Well, dude, I'm out there every freaking day. I see animals every time I'm out. So it's not true, but whatever. I mean, I'm sure it affected the population a little bit, but I mean, it's not enough to put an extinction on our animals. So I would say a worse issue is like CWD and deer. That's way worse
Okay.
than our winter that we just had. So,
Really? So
which
are you
actually this,
seeing
go ahead.
you're seeing that? You're seeing CWD in deer?
Oh yeah, yeah. Our CWD is pretty bad around here. I would argue that, like I said, CWD is worse than our winter that we just had. But the kind of the nice part about these winters that we just had is these brutal winters, like, I mean, only the strong survive, right? If something's got chronic wasting disease and it's going to try and live through the winter, if we have a pretty mild winter, then it's going to probably live and then pass that CWD through on in genes or however it's passed along. Versus you have a big winter that comes in and kills that animal, and then boom, that one less deer has CWD, and that happens tenfold, through the population of deer. So it wiped out a lot of our CWD deer, but I mean, there's still quite a few of them around. So big winters sometimes are definitely helpful for our deer population, I would say.
Man, that's actually a really good take. I don't know the redneck science on that, but I haven't heard that. That's a good take on like the CWD and the winters, like taking them out. Like that is a good take on that. I didn't think about that. I guess God has a way of sorting this stuff out, and
Yeah,
that is kind of that's a good take on that for sure. I didn't even thought of it like that.
yeah. I mean, it's definitely, definitely throughout the Bible it says that the world's going to continue to get worse. So I can't sit here and say the population's going to get better or whatever. I mean, I could imagine it's probably going to get worse, but who knows? I don't know. We can only kind of play with the cards that we're given. So
Yeah. So now on hunting up there, we talked about mule deer, we talked about antelope. I know you guys got whitetails too over like on the eastern side. Yeah, are you hunting whitetails at all up there too, or no?
I really prefer to not hunt whitetail if I can. I mean, so here's my mentality on whitetail, and this is actually probably most residents. Our big thing around here is mule deer. We just really like to hunt mule deer. I think more people are more concerned about the population of mule deer and the genes that are going around, blah, blah, blah. So that being said, most people, you only have like a 6 day rifle season around like central part of Wyoming, and most of the other seasons only like 15 days or whatever in the other parts of the states. So the reason that's relevant is because, these residents will go through and hunt mule deer for 15 days with their rifle. They see something small. Most of the time, they don't shoot him. They'll just wait till whitetail season comes around, which is in November, and that's also a general tag. And then they'll just go pop a whitetail because they hate whitetails. And whitetails, in theory, taste better. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what everybody thinks is that whitetails taste better, and so they'll just go and pop a whitetail with their general tag and just call it a hunting season. So that's at
Okay,
least
so it's
most people just really want mule deer, so they'll just go shoot any mule deer that they can. So,
so whitetail are on the same general tag as mule deer, but it's a separate season for whitetail.
yep,
Oh, that's kind of cool. So it's like if you don't get a mule deer, you can now go out and try and get a whitetail.
yep.
And I
It's
mean, it's
cool, but
similar
not
hunting, right?
really. Yeah,
Good.
I mean, it is. The part that sucks is that we don't get to hunt mule deer here in the rut, which is really weird. Everywhere you hear of animals getting hunted in the rut, like that's just the thing. But in Wyoming, they're like, nope, absolutely no way. So we don't see any of the mature mule deer until like November, which you can't hunt them. And it's like, oh my gosh, this unit does have big bucks. Where the freak were they? And I'll just go shoot a whitetail, like whatever. But yeah, no, it's definitely different than other states. Because I mean, like Montana, their over the counter season is November when they're rutting. So
I don't know about no mature mule deer, man. I've been seeing some pictures you've been posting. They look pretty darn mature, the stuff you've been killing. So, and the one behind
yeah,
you looks
I'm
pretty good.
pretty good with my camera. I make it look bigger than it really is. That's kind of
The
how I
whole
do it.
fish thing.
Yeah, yeah. You
I
hold it
like
this
it.
close to the camera, it's a giant.
I like it. All right, dude. So we kind of beat around the bush a little bit. Got some stuff out of you. Did some dirt on Wyoming. Tell me about you. How did you get into hunting? Like, tell me how'd you get into hunting? Tell me your first deer story.
Sure. Yeah, it's a good topic actually. So, really weird. I was actually not raised in a hunting family. So now that being said, it's not like a California non-hunting family, right?
Thanks. Yeah.
Dad's no, I'm just saying like when you hear that, it's not like my dad was around hunting his whole life. He's killed a deer and like an antelope, which no big deal, right? Whatever. But my dad, the only antelope he ever shot. Just a quick side story. The only antelope he ever went and shot his first antelope, whatever. And he brought it home. They went and scored it. Made Boone and Crockett, 85-inch antelope, and he had no idea. Okay, cool. What do we do with the horns? Throw them away? My grandpa's like, no, I'm shoulder mounting this. Long story short, I have it. It's sitting in my garage. I'm sitting there wishing I had the opportunity to kill an 85-inch antelope, and I hunt antelope every year, and I've never seen an 85-inch antelope in my life. So my dad, just the typical like Wyoming guy, just took it for granted, like, oh, whatever, you know. But it's cool though because I mean, I feel like my passion really came from myself coming from just going out and learning all of everything I know by myself. My grandpa kind of shown me a little bit. My other grandpa did too, but I my passions didn't come from that. My passions came from just going out by myself, learning the hills, like understanding a specific mountain range and where the deer go, and like deer hunting is actually what got me into like really enjoying hunting in general. So yeah, when I was 15, went out and started hunting general deer. I started archery hunting pretty quickly after that too. My very first hunt I went on was actually with my dad and my grandpa because I've been begging and begging and begging for them to take me along when I was 14, and I couldn't drive at the time, so they took me out and found the first buck that they saw, told me to go shoot him. I shot him, and I was like, okay, I got to go out and like really hunt for myself because that was boring. Like whatever, dude. So yeah, I went out. Actually, the deer behind me right here, I drew an actually a decent tag at the time. Went out, did all that by myself, and hunted. Shot him when I was like 16. But yeah, just just learning stuff by yourself. I mean, it wasn't somebody didn't pass it down to me and have all this knowledge. And I also kind of figured out social media at the same time, how to grow my following and get a decent sized page going at this like relatively about the same time. So I incorporated it into hunting, and everyone always gives me crap because they're like, dude, you don't kill big animals and blah blah blah, and you got this big page, but you're just a fake, blah blah. And I'm like, I'm trying to learn like everything I can by myself. Like I don't have anybody showing me this crap. Like you probably were raised with people that have about 30 years of experience, so they know what to do, and I have no freaking idea what I'm doing, but I'm just putting a backpack on and going.
Yeah.
So definitely interesting how that perspective is kind of how it is in the hunting industry. But yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
just
mean,
me.
yeah, I had the same experience, right? So I started hunting at 13. My dad doesn't hunt at all. I used to just watch like Bill Dance, and watch those hunting shows in the morning. Jim Shockey, before school, get up at like 5 a.m. watching these shows before I go to school. And I went and got my own hunting license, and then I found one of my dad's friends take me bird hunting. And so I bird hunted up until I was like probably 28. I always wanted a big game hunt, but I had no idea how to do it. I finally ended up getting on a hunting forum. So shout out to SCH Outdoors here in San Diego. A bunch of local guys. It's a hunting forum, and started talking to them and just learning. And I just got a deer tag and went out. In a couple of years, I finally got a deer, and I'm not shooting monsters by any means. I mean, I'm at a point now in my hunting career. I've been big game hunting now for about 10 years where I'm finding animals and killing animals, right? Like I'm confident, like if I go to Arizona next month with my boys, we're gonna find bucks and we're probably gonna kill bucks. But I'm still not at the point where I'm shooting 120-inch coos deer. I want to. I'm working on getting there, and I'm trying my best to find them. But it's fun, man, and screw the internet, man. Screw people on your social media.
Oh,
Like
dude.
I'm at a point now, like with mine, like I I've just decided with Tricer, like I'm just not gonna care. And like if I just don't care from the beginning, like it will never matter. So like if someone like says something crappy, I just like call them out. Like I don't even care. Like it's just I'd rather be that way than like let everything eat me alive and deal with it's just people suck, man. No matter what you do, people are gonna say something about your stuff or people are gonna complain or like with our stuff, oh it's too expensive or oh it's this or that. And it's always people are just keyboard warriors, man, and you just can't let them get to you. It's like, whatever. I don't care what you say. Like
Yeah,
that deer on the wall behind you is a great deer. I mean, it looks like his eye guards fell off, but he's a great deer. So
yeah.
it's a giant buck with no eye guards. I'm looking at him like, where are the eye guards out on that thing, dude? But
They're right here. There you
there
go.
you go. Put him on there. Put him on there. Yeah. But I mean, dude, that's a giant. That's a great buck, dude. That's a freaking 170-inch mule deer behind you or something. It's a good deer.
Right?
And
It's
Screw the
definitely
internet
interesting.
says, man.
Yeah, freaking internet, dude. It's stupid. It's tough though, man, when to not let it get to you. I mean, it honestly is because sometimes it's the same topics over and over and over again. You're just like, dude, like, am I doing something wrong here? Like, was I supposed to like know all this stuff before going out? Just stuff that you're just like, why is the same things kind of coming up over and over and over again sometimes? But I mean, at the same time, people that don't have social media that I agree with in their topics with stuff, they don't have it. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. I mean, everyone's to each their own. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion about stuff. So whatever, man. Put your head down and just keep going.
My favorite comment is always like, "Man, would have been a great buck next year." And it's like,
Yeah,
dude, my kid shot his first deer. Screw you. I
right.
don't care. Like I don't care. You know, like people. No matter what you shoot, people are gonna say something, right? Or you should have did this, or it's like this whole like public land DIY went deep. I'm the best. I'm back. It's just like, man, everyone's not as freaking bad A as they say they are on social media. You know what I mean? Like, it's just it's easy to look awesome on there. It's easy to sound tough on there. But man, like people hunters shouldn't be going after each other for one thing. They should be supporting each other, not going after each other. So I think what you're doing is awesome, man. I think you're killing a bunch of really good deer. I mean, upper percentages of animals. Deer, I think you're killing moose. You kill a sheep too?
I have not. No, I actually have not killed. This is my grandpa's moose. I have not killed a moose yet. Look, but I'll. It'll probably be in the next few years. It's in the making. So got some. I got like 15 points. So
Oh
be
wow.
soon.
So that's a Shiras on the wall behind you.
Yep. Yeah, it's actually a moose that my grandpa would not have killed if it wasn't for me getting him out of his house and dragging him down where I knew a bull was, and he freaking shot him. It's yeah, it's funny, but
That's
oh,
awesome.
hunting stories.
All right, so you got your first deer. So how long have you been big game hunting now? So you've been big game hunting for 15 years plus, right? I mean, how old are you now?
Um, I'm only 24,
Oh,
so
you're only 24. I
10.
thought you were like 30. So
No,
10 years. You've
I'm
been big game
young.
hunting for 10 years.
Yeah, young pup, just a young pup. Yeah,
So you're
I got. Oh, go ahead.
no, you're doing great. I mean, 24 years old, you're killing a lot of animals, man. Your page is pretty awesome.
Try, I'm trying. Got to keep people happy when they stay happy. No, I just like, honestly, the only reason I even keep it going is I just like looking back on it myself and seeing all the pictures and stuff myself instead of having it on my phone. I use Instagram as almost my gallery. I just kind of look back at where I was mentally and where, I was in the time of the hunt. And yeah, that's what I use it for. I don't know if everybody uses it that way. They just use it to show off or whatever. But that's genuinely, I'm just going back and reliving those memories and any way I can. Yeah, I got my wife into hunting actually. She was the same way. She grew up in a non-hunting home. So when I started dating her in high school, we got into hunting and or got her into hunting, and she kills way bigger animals than I do. So that's just how it goes, man. But yeah, she likes it. She likes it a lot too, and it's a good bonding experience we get to have. So definitely cool.
Do you guys have kids yet?
Yeah, we've got one little girl upstairs. She's 2.5, and then we've got a baby boy on the way. So
Nice, good for you, dude. When's he due?
February.
Gotcha. So someone had told me like someone else was telling me like you guys all make your kids in that cold season I was talking about. That's when you guys all make your kids. So there's something about that like April, March time frame of the year where you guys are stuck in the house. You guys make babies and then have them after hunting season.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're smart. We know when to make them come out, and it's not during September to December, when we're hunting. No,
Oh man,
I don't. Something in the water, man.
my buddy Jake, he's gonna listen to this. He's with my son right now hunting in Utah. He has like 3 kids in September or something crazy. It's like, dude, what are you
Man,
thinking, man? Just wasn't
what were
planned
you?
out.
Yeah,
Wasn't
the funny
wasn't planned out well.
funny part is like God giving the breath of life to everyone. Like he's probably sitting there going, "Yeah, Jake, sucks to suck, buddy, but it's gonna happen in September, man. Sorry, it is what it is."
It is what it is, dude. It's a good way to humble them. All right, so tell me about like, give me a good hunting story. Tell me about your favorite hunt. Could be doesn't you don't need to be successful. It doesn't have to be a big deer. It could be just it doesn't have to be a
Well,
deer. I mean, whatever it is. Tell me your favorite hunt.
yeah, my favorite hunt was actually with my wife. It wasn't my tag; it's her tag, and I don't know why it sticks with me. There's not really anything super special to the story besides just the moment and how it felt, you know. But uh, we were antelope hunting, and this is the main reason why antelope hunting is my favorite. Just started kind of getting into that learning curve of how to find the same buck over and over and over. We covered so much country, dude, looking for a good buck for her, and she had already had her first buck, so she was looking for something bigger. And we were just finding dinks, like little 2 points, as you say, you know. We were just seeing dinks everywhere, nothing big, and we finally stumbled upon an area where we might have found something that was decent. We got close and found out his one side was broke off. Oh, wow, this is horrible. Like, whatever. So she was just like ready to just end it, right? Just be like, I'm just gonna shoot the next buck we see. And I was like, really? She's like, yeah. I was like, somebody just told me that whenever that moment happens, that you're ready to throw in the towel, you need to push on. Like, this always is the turning point. Okay, we'll give it to the end of the day and see if we see anything else. Like, okay, great. Your patience lasts another 4 hours. Great. Like, whatever. Dude, it's all we
Real,
needed.
real, real quick. When you guys are glassing for antelope, are you guys running like big glass, or what are you guys using to glass these things?
So I use this tripod company called Tricer Tripods.
I got you.
Carbon
Okay,
fiber. It's awesome. But I got
that
a
was what I was.
spotter.
I wasn't what I was looking for, but yeah. But thanks for the plug. I was talking more about the optics, but yeah, go ahead.
No, I had to throw that in there. But no, I got a spotting scope set up, and I always just use spotting scopes. I mean, that's just
Just run a
it
spider.
doesn't yeah, anything crazy. I just 65, Burris, spotter, whatever you want to throw on there. That's my partner, so that's why,
Okay.
just throwing plugs if I can. But anyway, so yeah, going back to where it was, we found this antelope dude. He like made our eyes just drop. Like antelope are so tough. You're like, what's a big buck? Like on the hoof, they all look the freaking same. So everybody says, and that's always was my like perspective. And then you just when you see a big buck, which are very few and far between, but when you find them, you just freaking know. You're like, oh my gosh, what is that thing? Like, holy cow! And this thing just gave us the wow factor. Like, made us shaking, like in the truck, like we're opening the door, trying to get our orange hats on. It's blowing 70 miles an hour, and all of our hunter management papers and licenses just blow out of the truck, and there goes our hats and our vests, and we're like scrambling to grab all this. And meanwhile, that buck's like, bro, like, see ya, and he just takes off, and that put us on the chase. I mean, we put on probably I don't know 8 or 9 stalks, like to the point where it got dark. We couldn't see him anymore, so we wanted to come out after church the next day. So we went to church. Next day, came out, found him again, and we hunted him. Put another like 5 or 6 stalks on him, and then he was like chasing does because this is during the rut, just chasing does and gone, right? Completely gone. And just so you know, like the buck wasn't the one skittish; it was the does. I don't know what it is with does, but antelope, every single species has their own sense that they're like really tuned in with. An elk, theirs is smell. So they're like super blind. That's why you see people on YouTube standing in the trees and they're like walking right by. They can't freaking see anything that's moving, that's not moving. So elk are blind, but they can smell you. If you're upwind from them, you're you're not going to shoot an elk. If you're downwind, you're good, dude. You're Gucci. Mule deer, their hearing is really good. They'll hear you like long before you would even know that there's a deer even in the country. So that's their biggest thing. They use a little bit of their smell as well, and then as well as sight. So they're kind of a little tuned into all three, but hearing is definitely the number one. But antelope, dude, their vision is phenomenal. Oh my gosh. They will see you from like 6 miles away, peeking over a hill. Here's the hill, and you're like, and they're gone. Meow. But they just seen you. If you ever cut open an eye, they have this little like magnifying glass literally inside their eyeball. And if you put it on a
Really?
newspaper, yeah, it'll blow up the letters like huge. It's pretty cool. But
Really? Are you
anyway,
hunting? Is this hunt with a bow or with a rifle right now with your wife?
rifle. Yeah.
Rifle. Okay.
It's extremely hard to get close to an antelope with your bow. If you see people that are killing antelope with their bow, they're probably going out and finding the dumb ones that just like can't see you because their vision's messed up or something. And they're like, "Yeah, we got an antelope with my bow." But I can bet you money that they're not going out and finding a specific buck, like a normal buck that they're wanting to shoot, and staying on him. Is it's impossible. He gets shot at the first time, he will not give you 150 yards. Like you're gonna be. It's so tough. So anyway, going back into the story, the this thing gave us a run around, started chasing does, and Grace is like, "I'm giving up. I don't want to do it anymore." All right, let's go home. Like we just kind of that's how defeated we felt. We put on so many stalks of this thing, and they just seen us, and they kept running. Wouldn't give her a steady shot, and we're like, all right, let's leave. So we started leaving, and literally on our way out, those does ran way down the bottom, kind of close to where the truck was, like 700 yards away. And I glassed, and that big buck wasn't in there. So I'm like, where'd he go? What the heck? But there's another buck in there. I'm like, Grace, I bet this other buck just kicked him out. So he's probably like tired of rutting. He's probably going to go lay down somewhere. So we like turn around and start driving back up the hill. Sure enough, he laid down like right down in the bottom of that hill, just tired from rutting and from fighting and whatever. So we had our opportunity. We snuck all the way up to 80 yards, and she's able to lay against a sagebrush. Only thing she could see was the back of his head, and I told her, like, just shoot him right below his head, shoot him right in the neck. She popped him in the head. This is all on YouTube, by the way. It's pretty cool. She pops him right below the head. He stands up. She shoots him again. We're like super stoked. He's dead, you know. Walk up to him, just giant, like big old antelope, man. Just so cool. His cutters are the size of your hand, just unbelievable. But it was so cool going through so many downs, and then finally you get that like that thing that I guess that moment that just goes for you. Like it just all came together, you know. Yeah, I'd say that's my favorite hunt. He ended up scoring. He scores right at about 80 inches. He'd be 81 and a half if he wasn't broke off the back end. And dude, he's just a buck of a lifetime. I mean, a lot of people, you can't shoot 80-inch antelope. Like they're just so hard to come by. They really are.
So it's 80 inches. That's B and C, right? 80 inches is B and C for antelope.
Yeah, that's the annual awards. So like all time is 82. So yeah, that's like comparatively speaking, that's a 360-inch bull. So I mean, it's a
That's
big,
awesome.
big, yeah.
So what is your wife shooting? What caliber?
She shoots a 6.5 Creedmoor.
Shoots a Creedmoor. What
Mm-hmm.
rifle? Curious. Rifle scope.
The
What's that?
Weatherby Camilla.
Weatherby Camilla. Okay, I've heard of that rifle. It's super. It's lightweight too, right?
Yep, it's built exactly for a woman, so it's got a short stock and it's like tailor made for a female. Um, yeah, dude, it's she loves that gun. And that thing shoots so good. Like I like shooting it. So it's a
Yeah.
sweet gun, dude.
And you were saying you were sponsored by Burris, right? That's what you were saying.
Yep.
So are you running their rifle scopes as well, or just their spotters?
Yeah,
Rifle
everything,
scopes.
everything.
Okay, everything.
Yep, yep.
How what?
Yeah, they go ahead.
Oh, go ahead and give them a plug. I want to hear. I haven't run their stuff really on my rifles. I have a few friends who like their scopes a lot. So like give us a plug on the Burris on their rifle scopes. I want to hear about it.
So they're like their main thing, their focus is actually kind of technology based. They're probably their top seller is their Eliminator. I mean, it's got a built-in rangefinder in the scope, so if you got something at 673 yards, you don't have to adjust the top dial or anything. You just push the button, it gives you your whole dot. You just aim, put the dot on the animal, and shoot. It's a probably is the best rifle scope I would say on the market. I mean, it's just hands down for somebody that likes to just make something really simple. You know, um, it takes a little bit of prep work up front. It's nothing crazy. Just plugging in, your muzzle velocity and stuff like that. Just plugging in some information and to give you your stuff, and then you go test it out in range. And if it's shooting high, you just bring it up. Shooting low, you bring it down. Whatever. Then when you're good to go, dude, that thing's dialed. I mean, you're ready to go. It's sweet. But they got a couple other. They just came out with their pH system, their Veracity pH. That one has a separate rangefinder that you just range. It tells you what to dial it to. So you can have a dope card too, or you can just look through the scope and it says dial it to 12.7. So you just dial it to 12.7, boom. Or you can use it as a normal scope and just go off your dope card and turn it from there. So, but no, I would say their glass is awesome. I mean, it's not going to be like stupid high quality like Swarovski or anything like that. But I mean, they're out of Colorado. It's not overseas or anything. They're a U.S. company. And the guys, this is the reason I stick with them. The guys there are just super cool. I mean, they're just hands down like the nicest human beings out there. So that's probably that really goes a long ways. I mean, there's companies out there I refuse to buy from because they're like all about attacking people on social media and all about like just being the big bag hunter, type uh, personality, and I'm just not for that. I'm like, whatever. I'd rather try and side with the average Joe if I could, and accept everybody, and that's kind of they're very like just open and cool to talk to. So yeah,
I got to check them out for sure. That scope sounds intriguing. That eliminator scope sounds kind of intriguing. It sounds intriguing for a muzzleloader as well. Be kind of cool.
yeah,
Yeah. As for the hunting industry, yeah, it's a cutthroat industry, man. I had no idea until I got into it. I can give you a list of companies who like to be big and bad. But the cool thing about Tricer is now is we're trying to get bigger and badder, so it's like keep swinging at us. But yeah, it's pretty
no
cutthroat. People are out there. I mean, just I had a guy go onto one of my ads the other day and just start hammering us on the inverted legs are scientifically proven to not be stronger. And I'm like, man, this guy is passionate. So I look him up, and it turns out he owns one of my competitors. He was just hammering me, and so I ended up messaging him. I ended up pulling it down because I started calling him out. I was like, dude, like if you're gonna do it, why do you do it for your company page instead of your personal? He's just upset
yeah,
about us building stuff and taking business from him. And I was like, just give me a call if you're upset about it, but I'm not gonna stop. Like why are you doing this to me? And I mean, honestly, like you're writing this stuff down, and I've got 5,000 tripods in the market who people say differently. They say it's the strongest tripod on the market. So I don't care what your science says, you're wrong. But yeah, it's a
yeah, no
cutthroat
doubt.
industry, man. People are always trying to come at us, and big companies. I mean, from day one, some giant companies have come after us, and it used to really bother me. It used to really get me worked up. And now it makes me happy. Now I
Yeah,
just
that's
laugh about
awesome.
it. But yeah,
I
it's
can tell you
cutthroat, man.
really good experiences with tripod companies. So I mean, like I don't know what it is with the tripod industry. I have no freaking clue. Like who would have thought that would have been like a
Oh, it's
sour
brutal.
patch? Dude, it's stupid. Like I've reached out to a couple like way back in the like probably 3 or 4 years ago, talking about like partnering with them, going to the Hunt Expo, and they're freaking rude, dude. I'm like, holy moly! Like it's one thing to say no, we're good. It's another to just be like just completely arrogant and full of yourself and just freaking throwing you to the curb. Like, wow. I don't know. Just definitely, I've had those run-ins. Nothing probably as bad as you have, I'm sure, being a thing in the actual like tripod industry. But yeah, I
Oh
don't know what
yeah,
it is,
man.
man.
Yeah, I think because there's a couple of them who thought they were the only guys allowed to make hunting tripods, and then we came out and just made a better hunting tripod, and they're not too happy with us. But yeah, as for being rude to people too, man, like I like being a company for the people. Like I love giving out like writing a handwritten card in every one of our packages. I love talking to our customers like I'm doing right now with you, and just doing that's why I'm doing all these podcasts you're seeing. It's not famous dudes on here. It's just dudes who like to hunt, man. and I like that, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want people to ever think that we're untouchable like that. I don't want to ever feel like I'm better than people, man. If it wasn't for customers, Tricer wouldn't be where it is today. Like Tricer is going to continue to grow over the next few years. We're really starting to get momentum. And it's not in spite of customers, and it's not because I'm great. It's because we have great customers using our stuff and talking about it, right? And you can't lose focus on that. I think what happens is you get so established in this industry, you kind of feel untouchable and you kind of feel like, I'm the best and you have to use my stuff. And if you're not using my stuff, that stuff sucks. And I was talking to somebody about it today. It's almost like this like Ford and Chevy thing. It's like, well, Chevys suck. Well, why? Well, because I drive a Ford. It's like, well, man, the Ford's the Chevy's pretty good too. It's like everyone has good stuff, and I think it's so great for our competitors to be innovating things and making things. And I mean, honestly, with Tricer, like we're kind of forcing people's hands to force them to change, which is a good thing. Like you need that. If you don't have competition, you're always going to be stuck with the same thing. And I want to see people creating and innovating things. And that's what I told this guy the other day who was hammering me on social media. I messaged him and I gave him my phone number. And I was like, man, like you know, I like what you're doing. I think it's great. Like, I don't know why you're coming after me. Like, I'm just pushing the industry forward. And he was upset about something that wasn't even true. So I actually talked to him about it, and he thought I was coming after him. And I was like, dude, honestly, I really don't even know who you are. I've seen you once or twice. Like, that's not a shot at him by any means at all. But he was just upset about something, and I was just like, dude, like, don't come after me. Like, keep creating stuff, dude. Like, I support you, and I want to see you do good. And the more we work together to innovate things and do things, the bigger the space is going to become. Because like the tripod industry is still small. We're still in like the
Oh yeah.
fledgling stages. I mean, and we really are at Tricer. We're coming out with some stuff that's just next level in the next couple of months. I mean, it's just our stuff right now is already next level. It's rad, but some of this new stuff coming out is just like what the heck? It's awesome, and that's going to
Seeing you
drive the
guys.
industry forward.
Yeah, I've
You
been
know.
seeing you guys coming out with stuff. You keep posting stuff. I'm like, man, these guys are like, they're thinking. Like you're not just making a dang tripod. Like you're making these cool adapters and stuff that you can actually use. That a lot of people would be like, oh my gosh, this is so handy. That's what's really cool about you so far. I've really liked. I'm like, dude, these guys they're thinkers. They're really they're not. They didn't just make a product and they're like, oh, we made it. Like, oh, we're good. They're thinking ahead. They're like, we're making stuff that nobody else is thinking about. Like, cool, you made a tripod, big whoop. You start thinking of all these cool things to actually add to them, and then how to make those tripods better. That's just going to drive you forward. And I don't think a lot of people have that mentality, so it's definitely cool to see.
Oh yeah, man. Like I really get off on creating new stuff, right? So that's the other thing with Tricer too. Is a lot of these big guys are just kind of taking their money and pocketing it, and every penny I make, I'm putting back into new products and marketing, right? Like and growing this thing, and that's what's fun, right? And but it is this weird space where it's like, you got 20 car manufacturers, and no one's like, I can't believe Elon Musk is copying the car industry. But I come out with like I came out with this rifle clamp, right? And they're like, "You're stealing it from this company here." Well, it's like, well, yeah, those guys might have made the first one, but theirs is polymer and it's twice the size and it doesn't have Arca built into it. And my rifle clamp is 9.7 ounces. It's billet aluminum. It's only 3 inches long and 3 inches wide, so it fits basically in your pocket. And it has Arca rail built into the whole bottom of it. Like it's the next stage of where that first clamp should have went. And a lot of times when you create something, that's where you peak. You peak there, right? And then it takes innovation, which is taking a product and making it better to really grow the industry. And that's what I like to do is grow the industry. I'm not out there trying to steal people's things, by any means, but people get upset. It's like, I'm the only one that can make a rifle clamp. Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, I'm going to make one too, and I'm going to try and make it better than what you're doing. And hopefully, it'll push you to make something even better than that, and we'll just continue to grow. Um, there's room for that, man. But people just, yeah, it's a weird industry, dude. But it's fun. It's cool seeing guys like you using our stuff, man, and like you're taking all these pictures of our game bags. And you're putting our game bags with major use. Um,
I know I
it,
wasn't expecting to put use that quick, but Rick, man, I've used them like 6 times already, helping other people and just whatever the heck I need to do, man. Holy moly.
oh, they're holding up. They're holding up good, huh?
They're holding up. They're holding up great. About the only thing that I have an issue with is just being lazy to wash them. They're sitting in my dang garage right now. They need washed.
So what I do is I just soak them in a cooler because normally like
Hmm.
you have a cooler full of blood. So I'll wash that cooler out and then I'll throw OxyClean in the cooler with the game bags, and the OxyClean cleans them out pretty darn good. And I'll throw them I turn them inside out when I wash them. So turn them inside out. That way it doesn't mess up like the reflective stuff on them. And I just throw them in
Oh
the
yeah,
washer and wash them on like if I don't I can wash them by hand too. But I'll throw them in the washer and put them on like a real delicate load and let them go. And then I hang them. I don't dry them in the dryer. I just hang them and whatever. I'm not too picky though. If there's a little bit of stain on my game bags, I don't care. I mean, it's like my backpack is pretty clean, but there's pretty much always blood on it somewhere. It's like so. Man, that's awesome, dude. That was a fun podcast. I'm gonna come to Wyoming and go antelope hunting with you. I got a bunch of points. I gotta show you my points. I'll come up there and
sounds good.
you used to make it sound really easy, so I got to come up and do it at some point.
Yeah,
Get
you're
some insight.
gonna be like, what do I do? Which one do I shoot? I'd be like, none of them. You'd be like, dude, there's 100 of them right here. You're like, nope, stay patient. You're like, no, dude, I don't have one of these on my wall. I promise. I've done this 100 times with people. You're
Really,
gonna
it's
be like, dude, it's awesome. Freaking antelope hunting's the best.
I got to come up there and do it. Yeah, I'll send you one of those messages like I'm not looking for a honey hole, but you
Yeah.
know, I'm not looking for your best spot, but can you point me in the right direction? I'll hit you up if I come up there. So plug yourself, dude. Plug your Instagram. You have a YouTube channel as well. Plug your YouTube channel. Where can we find you? Where can we see all these things you're killing?
Yeah, just my main, actually two platforms right now. I'm actually starting to use Threads quite a bit too. I actually like that
Really?
platform too. Yeah, it's actually been quite enjoyable, similar to other social medias. But Instagram is my main platform. Just find me at Fish Hunt Wyo, literally Fish Hunt Wyo, like Wyoming. So you can find me there on Instagram. Mainly, I just do a lot of stories. I'll do some posting and stuff too, and reels and stuff like that. But I get most of my engagement comes from my stories. So I think it's just because people like to follow along the day by day stuff, see what I'm doing right then and there. Um, so, yep, you can catch me in my stories quite a bit. I am one of those few people that actually answers all of my DMs. So if you got questions or anything you want to talk to me about with whatever, go over points, whatever, whoever it is listening, you can feel free to shoot me a DM. I'm not one of those jerkwads that doesn't like keep to myself about everything. I'm very open. I want to see success throughout everybody. So yeah, find me on Instagram. You can add me on Facebook. I just have a normal Facebook personal page. I add everybody. But my other one is I actually do a little bit on TikTok as well. I've got a decent page on there too. So yeah, feel free to follow me on all those. And I do some stuff on YouTube, but dude, maybe one or two videos a year. I don't do it consistently like
Okay.
some guys. Yeah. So I'll just upload some stuff every now and then if I've got a pretty good video put around. But I normally just help other people that have a YouTube page because I'm not going to grow it. There's no reason for me to put the effort in. I've got other things to focus on, like life. So
Yeah.
that's where I'm at.
Well, dude, that's awesome. I will end with this. Your handle is Fish Hunt Wyo, and last night you texted me like, "Hey, text me," and you text me like, "Hey, this is Dylan from Fish Hunt Wyo," but it auto corrected for it too. Hey, this is Dylan from your mom's house. And
Yeah.
I was like, and you sent it, and you're like, "Oh," and I was like, "Dude, this is awesome." And I was like, "Did you do it on purpose?" Because if you did it on purpose, I really think it's really funny. But I assumed it wasn't on purpose. But I was like, "That's awesome that Siri auto corrected it to from your mom's house." And I was like, "Oh, I like this guy. I can tell I'm gonna have a good time with this guy on the podcast."
To me, it's like I got to be able to read people, and just from seeing your videos on there, I'm like, he would appreciate this, I bet. So I'm gonna say this is Dylan from your mom's house, and then send a text after. I mean, Fish Hunt Wyo.
So yeah,
So it
you
was
gotta have thick
purposefully.
skin. Oh, was it? That's good. Perfect. That's good, dude. All right, bro. Thanks for coming on. Let's do it again.
Sounds good, dude. Anytime.
Thank you for listening to the Tricer Podcast. Do us a favor and like and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Give us a follow on Instagram and Facebook at Tricer USA. And go and check out all of our innovative gear at www.tricerusa.com. Until next time, shoot straight, have fun, and always put God first.